do we make sure, from a New York perspective, we're not sending dirty water to Ohio to let them deal with it? In the same context, how would Ohio deal with our own water here? And this is where the problem of chemicals becomes complicated, because when you flush your toilet, water goes down your sink, usually that water will end up in some sort of a waste treatment facility, what's known as a POTW in government lingo. If that facility is not set up to treat and handle all the various chemicals that are in that mixture, then at the end of the day, when that water comes back out and gets dispersed either into a water body, or into settling tanks, or into underground reserves, there's a possibility that those chemicals are also going with it, because the technical facilities don't exist to do all the treating and processing and filtering of 300 plus chemicals, because when these plants were built, they were never set up to design to handle the removal or sometimes even the detection of a lot of these. And this becomes especially important when you're looking at the combination of fracking fluid and tailings, or basically what's come up when you've been drilling and doing the boring of a well. And part of the reason that's important is because anywhere in the ground you have what's known as NORM, naturally occurring radioactive material. And a little bit of radioactive material is fine. Even in our bodies we'll find it. But as that builds up, you get an accumulation, either sitting in lime pits or in tanks. You essentially have an accumulation and increase of possible radioactive material. So if New York is shipping low-level radioactive materials to Ohio to be disposed of, do the waste haulers, do the treatment facilities, do the landfills, do the wells that are doing the injecting, do they have the technical capabilities to handle this, and are they even possibly aware that these are going on? So one of the things the New York document, unfortunately, is not as good at is making sure that what leaves New York is safe to go to Ohio, or at least has been approved and regulated properly before it gets to Ohio. So New York is trying to develop essentially a tracking system. So right now, biomedical waste that leaves a hospital or somewhere else, the state has a whole sort of regime of how it tracks and monitors where that goes, so we know if there's an accident on the highway, how to respond to it, what's going, what landfill, how do they handle that. Well, the same sort of concerns are coming up with both NORM, this radioactive material, and some of the fracturing fluids. And so I think one of the challenges for Ohio, either if we're talking about gas that's produced here in state, or water that's coming from out of state, is do our treatment facilities and do the other sites, public or private, that are handling these, have the technical capabilities and the safety measures in place to make sure that that water or that material is not going to then possibly come and contaminate local water here in whatever part of Ohio might be going in.